First video on the new camera. Gotta say, this thing's extremely light. The lens itself is freaking tiny. That is one thing that I noticed, but and all this crap comes with, look at this. This seems like this freaking thick book. Like, who is gonna read all of that? Half of it's probably not even in English. Yep, I was right. That's like Spanish, that's just, no. If only it would stop raining so I can go out and like fly the drones, have a good time, all that type of stuff, but nope, it has to just rain all The sun is set, and it's still super bright for the camera. The camera can see more than I can. Alright, and here we are on the new camera, kind of, you know, with the light, the nice boom mic, all that type of thing. Kind of basically what this camera used to do, until I got the new one, obviously. So first things first, if you want to get this camera on the sale, today's actually your last day. It's on sale, it's refurbished, and it's on sale. So that's like a double sale. It's like $160 off the refurbished price. So you can get it for about 400 bucks off of Canon's website. It's absolutely great. Comes with the warranty and everything, so you're not gonna get it off eBay with no warranty. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there. Let's get into the video. So most of the things I'm gonna be talking about in today's video are more geared towards video because that's what I do most of. I will talk about some slight photography things just because I feel like that still affects the camera. First things first, I want to talk about the mount the camera uses. This camera uses Canon's EF mount and their EFS mount. But basically the EFS mount is for APS-C glass, because obviously with the APS-C sensor it's smaller, so you don't need a giant piece of glass to cover the entire sensor. You need one that's a little bit smaller. And this camera will take though Canon's big full frame L series glass, and them are some of the nicest lenses out there, and a lot of them are actually pretty fast lenses too, so you can use that natively with this camera and not have to get any adapters or anything. It just works. So basically when you have a camera where you can switch your lenses out, that means you can basically upgrade the camera because the lens is the physical part that captures the light for your image. So the higher quality lens you got, the sharper your image will be. That's why a lot of people will say you should spend more money on the lens than the body. Like this body itself is I think 400 bucks. You can get lenses that are 3-4 times the price of that and get an incredible image out of this beginner camera. Now as I said, it is an entry-level camera, and when you first get it, the software actually has this thing turned on where it'll basically tell you what all the different settings do, which is actually great if you're beginning out with cameras. You don't know a whole lot about shutter speed and things like that. But if you already do know what you're doing, you can turn that off to get the full EOS experience with the, you know, all nice software. It actually leads on to the next point. This camera doesn't actually have that many buttons itself, but it does have this nice touch screen over here. So if you're like me and you're, you know, in front of the camera and you don't have anyone behind you, you can change your settings just by touching the screen. Now obviously there are still some physical buttons because you have to have some still. There's an ISO button and a display button that are dedicated, which is nice because I actually find myself changing the ISO more than anything else when I'm shooting video. And the sensor itself in this camera is the exact same thing as the Canon 80D, which is pretty nice. I believe it's a 24.6 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor, which is a very good sensor. As I said, it's the same one in the 80D. I believe the M50 actually shares the same sensor with this camera. The only difference between the higher end 80D and this camera is that this one actually has the new Digic 7 processor, so it means it'll be able to handle higher ISO performance. And I'll kind of talk about flat profiles because most Canon EOS cameras can install something like Technicolor CineStyle on there, which is nice. Now the reason you'd want to install a flat profile is so you can easily color grade it in post-production, and also a flat profile will give you more dynamic range. Now I'll talk about frame rates with this camera. This thing can shoot 1080p 60, 30, and 24 frames a second. There's no 120 here, which, you know, isn't that bad. I've actually gotten used to shooting all my things in 60 frames a second, so this is more than doable. And if you're working at a 24 frames a second timeline, that's actually about 40% of the speed of 60 frames a second. So you're still getting relatively good slow motion out of this camera. Now this thing shoots in the IPB codec, which is really standard. There's also a light version of the IPB codec, so if you don't want as much space being taken up, it's slightly less quality, but nothing extremely noticeable. And I'll talk about the low light. This thing in video mode can go all the way up to 12,800 ISO, and obviously you can also get faster lenses with it, like the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. So the combo of the high ISO performance with that Digic 7 processor and a really fast lens, this camera will be incredible in low light. In photo mode, the ISO can actually go up to 25,600, and I believe it's expandable 51,200. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that's kind of like my little spiel about the camera. Different things I've noticed with working with it is that it's very smooth. It works extremely well. Canon's menus are extremely easy to navigate and work through, and just general performance of the camera is absolutely incredible. It's a steal for if you get it today on sale through $430. And obviously that price will vary with sale tax and things, but that's completely different. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. By the way, I'm not being paid by Canon. I wish I was, but peace out guys.